Some sports clubs, they're just about the game, right? But then there are a select few that become something else entirely. They become a part of a city's identity, a global community, all woven together by this incredible story of amazing highs and just devastating lows. Today we're diving into the story of one of the most famous of them all, Liverpool F.C.
Okay, you have definitely seen this crest before. I mean, it's recognized all over the planet. But what does it really stand for? Those words, "You'll never walk alone," and that iconic liverbird, they hint at a story that goes so much deeper than just what happens on the pitch. This is the journey of how a football club became a true global institution.
All right, so where does a story like this even begin? Well, like so many great rivalries, it all starts with a fight, an argument. To really understand Liverpool, you've got to know that they were basically born from their oldest rivals, Everton. So let's get the basics straight. The date is June 3rd, 1892, and Liverpool Football Club is born out of a breakup. The city's original team, Everton, had a major falling out with their stadium owner, a guy named John Houlding, and they decided to move across Stanley Park to a new home. This left Houlding with a completely empty stadium. So, what was his solution? He decided, fine, I'll just start my own team.
And what a team it became. I mean, just look at this list of honors. It's absolutely staggering. A joint record 20 league titles, and this is the big one, 6 European Cups. That's more than any other English club. This wasn't just a run of good luck. It was sustained, historic dominance that made Liverpool a true powerhouse in world football.
But here's the thing. Trophies only tell you part of the story. The real soul of this club, its very identity, was forged by one man. He showed up in 1959, when the club was kind of stuck in the second division. His name was Bill Shankly.
See, for Shankly, it was never just about winning games. He wanted to build what he famously called a bastion of invincibility. He just got that a football club belongs to its people, to its fans. His whole vision was to create a team that the working-class supporters of Liverpool could be fiercely proud of, a team that reflected the city's own passion and grit. And the things he put in place, they weren't just temporary fixes. They became the very fabric of the club. He took a simple boot storage closet and turned it into the legendary boot room, a kind of secret think tank for coaches that would go on to produce a dynasty of managers. He helped make "You'll Never Walk Alone" the club's anthem, and, maybe most famously, he made a huge decision about how the team looked. He decided the team should play in all red. We're talking red shirt, red shorts, red socks, the whole deal. And his thinking behind it was brilliant in its simplicity. He said, red is for danger, red is for power. He wanted his team to look like giants, to give them a psychological edge before a single ball was even kicked. And today, that all-red kit is just, it is Liverpool. So, those foundations Shankly built, they didn't just bring a little success. No, they unleashed an era of dominance that is, frankly, almost unbelievable. In the 70s and 80s, the club entered its golden age.
Let's talk about the big one, the European Cup, what we now call the Champions League. It's the ultimate prize. After Liverpool won their first one in 1977, they basically made that trophy their own personal property. They won it again in 78, then again in 81, and again in 84. That's 4 times in just 8 seasons. They were, without a doubt, the kings of Europe.
20. Just think about that number for a second. 20. What is that? It's the number of major trophies won under Shankly's successor, Bob Paisley. And get this, he did it in just 9 seasons as manager. 20 trophies in 9 years. That's a rate of success that's, well, it's almost impossible to wrap your head around. So you see, the key here is that the system Shankly built, that whole boot room culture, it created a dynasty. It wasn't about one genius manager, it was a production line of them. Paisley, then his assistant Joe Fagan, and then club legend Kenny Dalglish, they all stepped up and just kept the success rolling. This period cemented Liverpool's place at the absolute pinnacle of world football. But this incredible era of success was also marked by 2 of the darkest tragedies the sport has ever seen. And these events would cast a long, dark shadow over the club, its fans, and the city for decades.
In 1985, at the European Cup final against Juventus in Brussels, a retaining wall at the Heysel Stadium collapsed following a charge by Liverpool supporters. 39 football fans, most of them Italian, lost their lives. The tragedy resulted in all English clubs being banned from European competition for 5 years.
Just 4 years later, tragedy struck again.
At an FA Cup semi-final at Hillsborough Stadium, a fatal crowd crush, which was caused by grossly negligent policing, led to the deaths of 97 Liverpool supporters who had just gone to watch a football match and never came home.
What came next was a decades-long, incredibly painful, but absolutely relentless campaign for justice by the families of the victims. They had to fight against institutional cover-ups and false narratives that tried to wrongly blame the fans. But in the end, the truth came out. Inquests and independent panels completely and totally exonerated the supporters, placing the blame squarely on the authorities who were in charge that day.
In the aftermath of all this, and with that golden era now in the past, the club faced a brand new challenge: how to get back to the very top of English football. And that journey, it would take a lot longer than anyone could have possibly imagined.
The reality of what came next is just, well, look at the numbers. It's stark. Between 73 and 1990, Liverpool won the league 11 times. Then, from 1991 all the way to 2019, nothing. Zero. For a club that was built on winning, this 30-year drought was just agonizing.
But that European spirit, that never died. There were these incredible glimmers of hope along the way. 2005, the miracle of Istanbul, coming back from 3-0 down to win their 5th European Cup, it's one of the greatest comebacks in sports, period. And then again in 2019, under the charismatic manager Jürgen Klopp, they conquered Europe for a 6th time.
And then, after all that waiting, it finally happened. In 2020, Jürgen Klopp's incredible team, a team that played with the kind of heart and fire that Shankly would have absolutely loved, they ended the 30-year wait. They didn't just win the league, they dominated it. Liverpool were champions of England again. You can only imagine the pure emotional release for the club and its fans all over the world.
And that victory, it wasn't just a flash in the pan. It was a sign that the club was truly back. This new era of success hit its peak in 2025 when they locked in their 20th top-flight league title, finally matching their great rivals for the joint record. The long, painful road back to the top was finally complete.
So where does that leave us? When you think about it, from a bitter dispute between rivals to the absolute pinnacle of European glory, from unimaginable tragedy to this incredible, cathartic rebirth, the story of Liverpool Football Club is just this epic cycle of struggle and success. For a club so defined by high drama, you have to wonder, what on earth could the next chapter possibly hold?